Studio, you're tuned in to middays. Golly, don't even know where we are here. So, but, whew, it's been a long week. But we welcome now Caleb Sailors, Multimedia Journalist, SuperTalk Mississippi News.
And a shout out to Rhino for bumping us into a little Donald Fagen.
I heard that, man.
New Frontier, good song. That was a Caleb recommendation, by the way. Rhino threw me a bone today.
Okay. Donald Fagen.
Yep, one of the frontmen for Steely Dan. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, saw him in concert last year. He's fantastic, of course, but yeah.
Very talented group.
I know, it was funny.
Musicians.
Well, he opened for the Eagles. I probably told this on air before. It was funny because I was with a group of people my age. I'm 28. And most people at the concert were not my age. I mean, it's funny because you go to concerts and you're worried that people might be standing in front of you the whole time or up and down. There was not a lot of standing at this concert. Most people were sitting down. They were like, "Yeah,
too old, can't stand.
You young bucks can stand up." Oh yeah, people were, "Where are your parents? Where are your grandparents?" Like, no, we're here on our own volition. We just like the Eagles. We like Steely Dan.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, man, what's going on? Military flyovers for tomorrow's games.
So I'm gonna start us off with some cool news. Some good news before we get into the meat and potatoes of everything else happening in Mississippi. We got 2 flyovers happening at 2 of our college football games in the state. In Starkville at Davis Wade Stadium, the Apache helicopters will be flying over ahead of the Bulldogs' inaugural SEC matchup of the year against Tennessee. Ole Miss might have one-upped Mississippi State a little bit here, and I'm not saying that from being biased. I mean, I think objectively Ole Miss might have one-upped Mississippi State here. Ole Miss has a B-2 bomber. B-2 bomber flying over Vaught-Hemingway Stadium. And check this out, Gerard. What makes it even cooler, it's from the 509th Air Wing out of Missouri. That's the same wing that bombed Iran in June, or Iran rather, in June. Yeah.
Wow, so, that's impressive.
And so just heads up about the games tomorrow. State will kick off against Tennessee at 3:15 tomorrow. That game's on the SEC network. Ole Miss against LSU. Obviously, that's LSU's number 4 in the country. Ole Miss is number 13. That game will be at 2:30 on ABC. And of course, our participating SuperTalk Mississippi stations will air both of those matchups, too, so you could listen to them on the radio like you're listening to us right now. In fact, here in Jackson, 97.3 is where the Ole Miss game will be available. But Mississippi State fans, too, have been warned about their cowbell ringing. There's been like five or six social media posts from official Mississippi State accounts this week saying, "Hey, guys, ring responsibly, protect our bell, protect our tradition." I've been told by a source that the SEC has reached out to the Mississippi State Athletics Department saying, "Guys, you're not following the rule for the cowbells. When another team's center is touching the ball over the ball, you can't ring the bell. You can ring it in between plays. You can ring it at halftime, ring them at halftime. You can ring them during commercial breaks. You can't ring them when the game is going on." And so there's this big campaign this week by the Mississippi State Athletics Department. Hey, no bell, just yell in those periods where you're not supposed to ring the bell. And you could go find clips. I know that Arizona State's head coach has complained about it, and other schools have complained about it in the past. But you can find clips of an opposing quarterback on third down, get calling a play, getting ready to get the snap, and all you hear in the background is ding, 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 ding. And that is, objectively, that's against the rules. So Mississippi State fans are warning, hey, guys, stop doing this. We don't want to lose these cowbells. This is our biggest tradition. And it's the only school in the SEC, only school in the country that has a tradition like that. And it is cool. I mean, I've been to Starkville a million times for football games. And are the cowbells loud? Yes. Is it an acquired taste? Absolutely. But it's a very big acquired taste there. And it's a cool tradition. It's nationally renowned. And so, yeah, if you guys want to keep that tradition, ring responsibly. That's what the athletics department is saying.
Interesting. Okay.
And now on a more serious topic, the funeral announcements, the funeral arrangements and the visitation arrangements have been announced for Trey Reed, the Delta State student who was found hanging on campus last Monday. Visitation will be held at Bellflower Missionary Baptist Church in Grenada, which is where Trey was from. He graduated from Grenada High School. That'll be today from 1 to 5 p.m. It's open to the public. And then tomorrow, a funeral will be held at 3 p.m. also in Grenada. And as we stand on that case, right now, obviously the early autopsy from the state medical examiner's office has determined that Reed died by suicide. Of course, an independent autopsy that was funded by former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick is underway, and civil rights attorney Ben Crump is representing the family at this time as they seek answers. So we still don't have any results from the independent autopsy. We don't know what the toxicology report has said. That's not available yet. But right now, that's where we are in the stages of the Trey Reed investigation. But all evidence in that case has been turned over to the FBI. I know Congressman Benny Thompson demanded for that to happen. And so state officials, local officials in Bolivar County have turned over everything. So the FBI is investigating, and that's where we are in that case. But right now, early signs are no signs of foul play, that he died by suicide. But again, an independent autopsy is underway, and the federal authorities are still investigating the case. So there's no concrete conclusion yet.
Okay. No earth-shaking change news.
No. The biggest news in this is that they're doing a funeral this weekend, and visitation is today. And some good news in central Mississippi specifically, but also in a 45-county radius of Mississippi. Energy Mississippi is doing this huge campaign to fix its grid, and a $300 million, it's called Superpower expansion. So this is something I know that you've talked about on your show a lot, and you've had people text in. I've seen the text because I'll read the text line when I'm doing the scoreboard show from your show and Mornings with Richard Cross, and I'll see some people getting ticked off about things happening in the state. It's funny. It's like, I can't believe this happened. Oh, by the way, Kossuth beat Jay-Z George this score. And so it's funny reading the politics and the high school scores. But Energy is trying to improve its grid, one, to reduce power outages, because that has been a problem. We've had bad power outages after just about every storm, and Central District Public Service Commissioner DeKeither Stamps has also said he's had some issues with energy there. I mean, he told me that.
He's talked about it on the show.
He's talked about it on the show, and he's told me that. And so, and then also the public has come out and said, hey, we're getting all these data centers, but that's going to jack up our energy rates. And then, of course, there's environmentalist groups and others that stoke fear-mongering to kind of galvanize the public to be against something. But Energy is saying, no, we're going to undergo this campaign. We're going to update our power poles. We're going to clear out vegetation. We're going to install, I believe, some AI power devices that will detect if an outage is coming or an outage has happened and divert power elsewhere to prevent it hurting the masses. I mean, Energy is doing a lot to rectify any potential future outages and to update its grid. But one thing I noticed about in the release that Energy published a few days ago was that these major companies like Amazon Web Services specifically are going to help fund this. Right. Like Amazon, of course, is getting its own substation for the data centers in Madison County. And I know that Energy will be doing something for the AVAIO and Brandon as well. But these companies aren't just coming to Mississippi and siphoning all of our power and siphoning all of our water and then leaving everybody else having to pay these extraordinary bills. At least that's what Energy's saying. Energy's saying, no, quite contrary. These companies are going to be contributing so much that you might actually see a reduction in your bill or no marginal change.
I mean, Haley Fasackerly, of course, the CEO of Energy, he's made this point numerous times. I've seen him deliver remarks concerning these concerns and they're legitimate by residents. He's done that in the chair that you're sitting in. I've seen him do it in various gatherings of groups where he's been asked to speak. But that's been really their steadfast message here, that they think it's an economies of scale thing. They're going to invest a whole lot more, and as a result of AWS and ABAIO drawing more power, requiring more power, it's kind of paying for the company to modernize its infrastructure, and we'll all benefit from that.
Absolutely, and I would encourage anybody that lives in the Central District of Mississippi or anywhere in the state, if you can make it, to go to a docket meeting at the Public Service Commission. Because I will give our public service commissioners a lot of credit. They've been steadfast in their initiative to make sure that the average, everyday, ordinary Mississippians don't get, excuse my language, screwed over by big corporations. You know, that's been a concern. People are like, well, what about the little man? What about the little man? I commend Commissioner Brown, who's the chairman of the commission right now, and then obviously Commissioner Stamps and Commissioner Carr for their efforts in making sure that, hey, these companies are not going to come in and just, again, like siphon all of our resources and leave us hung out to dry. That's not what's happening at all. In fact, their contributions will go toward modernizing our grid.
Yeah, I think people are pointing to situations where that's been a problem in other parts of the country, but I think better planning. Real quick, National Guard in D.C. from Mississippi. What's happening?
Yeah, the Mississippi National Guard troops in D.C. will have their deployment in Washington, D.C. has been extended to November 30th as President Trump continues to try to clean up the streets of D.C. Of course, that's his campaign. Since now that the Metropolitan Police in D.C. is no longer under federal control, Congress didn't renew the 30-day extension or didn't extend it beyond 30 days. So now he still has control of the National Guard, and the governors in the states can do it. So they're still going to have their presence in D.C.
Makes sense. All right, Caleb. Appreciate
More Steely Dan, Rhino. Heck yeah, dirty work.
We're coming right back, folks. Stay with us.